HuffPod has just posted a teaser for update 2.0, and this is super early. They usually post the announcement for the live stream around 7 to 8 days before the live stream, and the live stream usually happens around 4 days before the update itself. So everything is usually very close to the release date. But this time they released a whole image, gigantic image by the way. We are going to analyze it, and we're also going to talk about some hot topics and issues and concerns that a lot of people have been having and sent me on Discord, and I've also seen on the comments and so on. But first of all, let's have a look. Let's talk about the outfit right away. We have seen this outfit on the Terra Alliance's story quest from update 1.11 in the old ancient phase that they found in Itzaland. So I'm not going to spoil here in case you didn't do the quest yet, but I do recommend you do it urgently. I will also post that one lore recap that I've been promising for ages. I have already written everything down, but I still need to cut down short because there is too much to talk about and I need to be a little bit more straightforward with that. So this is us going to Terra Alliance. That is pretty much confirmed now. We are going to Itzaland. Yes, it's an unfortunate name. Like this one person called Lucid B on Twitter said, I can't say that name without giving it a Mario accent. Honestly, this is so true. Itzaland. We are going to Itzaland, which is interesting because as you can see, we are using the same outfit from the base. But the base, the happenings from the base, the memories that Nikki got are from 1,000 years ago. And guess what else happened exactly 1,000 years ago as well? Although I am not going to delve into this in this video, I will save it for a next theory video because I already have more theories cooking. If you don't usually watch my live streams, when I was doing the 1.11 Terra Alliance quest, I've done it on stream. And one of my main thoughts was, so small, minor spoilers ahead. My main theory and thoughts right now is that potentially we'll be traveling in time from now on. So Nikki just has these memories from 1,000 years ago in Terra Alliance, and it's her and Momo, but obviously she has never been to Terra Alliance yet. But perhaps she's actually traveling to the past and experiencing all of those things that are depicted in the vase. That's the past of Mirrorland, but maybe that's actually Nikki's future. Nikki is going to experience those things. She's going to travel back in time, change Mirrorland, and then go back to the present in some way. That could be one alternative. That's just my personal theory. There is nothing confirming that so far, despite the fact that this is the same outfit. So either she's going to uncover this outfit and wear it again, or we are actually gonna make those happenings actually happen. Unless it's just a memory from another Nikki, from another universe, which, Dungeon Realm and all of the multiverse, and we already know about that. And if you don't, again, lore recap very soon. I think that it's interesting though. It is the same outfit. The question now though is it a miracle outfit, super relevant to the story, or is it a banner outfit such as we had during update 1.5 where the Phoenix and the Mermaid are actually featured on the main story even though they are just limited banners? Or is this an ability outfit? Because as you can see, Nikki is holding a bow. We are getting archery, guys. That's our next ability apparently. So we are getting a bow, and this makes me think that perhaps this outfit is the same thing as Dungeon Craft from Dungeon Island. So maybe this is just an ability outfit, and that's why they are using this outfit on the preview. It kind of makes sense to me. Maybe it is just an ability outfit and we haven't seen the best yet. They would probably want to save the best for the live stream. So I think that this is just a 4-star ability, but it could be miracle, it could be banner. So keep that in mind if you love this outfit. Personally, I think it's really cool. I'm not too particular about the style, but I do want this hood of sorts, and the bow is absolutely awesome. Can't wait for that. Momo cloak is also great. Very excited for the Momo cloak. This is so cool. So cute. Look at the little belts and all of that. He looks like a gladiator. One last thing about the bow is that I have seen already people concerns about the handheld, and in case you don't watch my news videos and my optimizations videos, we already had confirmation that we will get handhelds in the future. future. So they are working on a handheld system, and we already have, some optimizations like the handheld switch button and so on the quick slot, but we are going to get more items, more handhelds as actual items from previous outfits as well, like the pastoral dancer staff and so on. They already officially confirmed that. Now, let's have a look. Despite the outfit, which looks super cool, like I said, I do like the colors. I think it's really pretty. Interesting that has some leaves here, like some autumn leaves. I'm wondering if this new nation has like some autumn-like regions, which would make sense with the current banner, the mushroom full star. I think it's kind of like, it kind of suits the autumn vibe. Even though we are walking towards winter season already, at least in the North Hemisphere, I don't see any problem with that, with the nations being kind of like seasonal themed. That makes sense too for me, especially because we already know that Empire Light is very much supposed to be, ocean, coastal, potentially summer-like. So totally fine with that. What's interesting here is also the background. So we have a little bit of Itzaland, and I find interesting, and I want to really talk about that because as you can see here, we have multiple different tiny little houses. These houses look really small. So I'm wondering if this is actually mushroom people area still, because we know that the mushrooms are in the forest. We've seen a snippet of the mushrooms in the forest in this quest in 1.11, but I'm wondering now if mushrooms are just like the overall population of Itzaland currently, or if this is us traveling to the past and this is a whole other situation. We have, humans, titans, a dragon hybrid, and also mushroom people in Terra Alliance. So it's going to be very interesting to find these different kinds of people on Itzaland, and especially if we are time traveling or not. It's going to be interesting and very mysterious a story to uncover what are those memories that Nikki had and why she's having those memories. I think it looks really good, to be honest. I like the shape of the houses. I think they have a lot of natural materials here, patterns that are, everything here is very reminiscent of African culture, which is really nice because I don't see much reference to South American culture anymore. So let me show you this side as well, just so you see what I mean. The houses are made of, what's the word in English? I think it's clay, I guess would be the right words. I'm not sure what's the name of the material here in English, but they're actual structures with this kind of like straw looking roof, right? Although this one is super weird actually. I just realized. I don't know if you can see very well, but this is super creepy. I think this is probably related to the mushroom people. I don't know what that is. It looks like a butterfly wing, if anything. Kind of creepy, not gonna lie. But yeah, we do have quite a few yellow and orange trees. So maybe, it's going to be a more autumn themed land. Also, we have some forest. Even though we're in the canyon right now, we have some forest and waterfalls in the background. So I think it's quite clear that this is probably Spira City. It looks better than I expected. I was a little bit concerned about Alliance / Wastelands because of how it's been done on the previous games. And that's what I wanted to talk about briefly next. In previous games, we had the region called Wasteland. So previous games as in Shiny Nikki and Love Nikki, we had Wastelands, and Wastelands was a bit of a mess. It was a mix between multiple different African cultures, mostly North African, and a little bit of, I guess, North and South American native, like indigenous cultures. All of that was just mixed together into a hot pot of exotic. And it was not the worst thing ever. Like, I definitely have found way worse representations in other games, but also wasn't great. It still lacked a lot of research. It still lacked a lot of work. I think from the Native American perspective, at least, which I can speak a little bit more, which, in case you didn't know, I have mentioned that lots of times in many videos, but I'm Brazilian, I am mixed, I have a lot of white European mixed with Native American and African as well, and yeah, my ethnicity is quite mixed, even though my nationality is Brazilian. So I feel like I can speak a little bit about the Native American part because I do understand a lot more about that. I cannot speak on the white European nor African side because I do not have much contact with that side at all. I think that from the Native American perspective, the fabrics and the textiles and the materials that they used weren't correct. Like there was clearly some attempt, but the way that it was done, it was very stereotypical. It was the equivalent of using a religious garment as your casual little dress in a banner, you know? It was a little bit tone deaf, I guess that's what I mean. Not the worst, but not the best either. I think that they can definitely do better, and I am hoping that they do better. This is surely a understandable concern, okay? I just wanted to give you that background before we talk about this, because my point here is not to cancel or invalidate anyone's opinions, and also to not fearmonger at the same time. So I think we need to be cautious about the representation, but at the same time, looking at this teaser, there isn't really anything I am worried about. At least I don't find anything concerning here. There is no weird mix between North African and South American cultures as if it's a singular exotic thing. Some people were actually, I saw some comments about like, oh, they mix not indigenous, South/North American. They did not. Okay, these are very different, so I'll show you here just quickly. But just in case you're also confused, again, this is South American native, not North American. They are quite different. I cannot speak for the North American at all, but this is a typical South American house in certain tribes, of course not all of them, but yeah, they are usually all made of this straw-like material. While if you go to a African house, again, cannot speak, I do not know too much, but a quick Google search shows us that the architecture usually has this straw-like material on the roof only, and the base of the house is usually this kind of like clay material. Again, I don't know the words, guys. Sorry, I don't have the vocabulary in English to talk properly about this topic. But what I want to show you is that they are different. And what we have in Itzaland is not a mix of both. It is, in fact, just African inspired. This is not Africa though. This is Itzaland. This is a fantasy world. It could be inspired, and that's perfectly fine as long as it doesn't rip off, as long as it doesn't disrespect the culture that exists, right? Let's keep that in mind as well. I think that's important. We could also potentially not have any reference to South American at all, because as you can see, this is very gladiator inspired in terms of outfit. And in the past, the Titans, or actually, I'm not sure if the Titans are actually the gladiators. I don't know if they are just like gigantic humans and they are Titans, or if the dragon-like creature is the Titan. But I think it's quite clear from the vase that the person fighting the dragon-like creature is huge as well, right? Like all the people in the front looks small. Maybe it's just perspective, maybe it's just a painting, but I feel like the person is big, and that's the Titan that they are referring to. But maybe we are not even having any South American reference anymore, despite the fact that they call it like Mother Terra, you know, Mãe Terra, or also they could be separating, you know, this whole forest here in the Outerwood. Mushrooms could represent South American cultures, while this area here represents African, or even time traveling related. If we do go time travel, could be past is Roman and maybe Greek inspired, and then present time is American and African. Like, we do not know, but it does seem to have a more clear distinction between all of these different cultures. Like, they are properly referenced here. Of course, again, fantasy world, fantasy spin on it, but at least they are not doing what I just mentioned of like getting a garment, like a religious garment, and using it as a, you know, stroll in the park outfit. That's good enough. Using proper fabrics and using proper representation is enough. It's not disrespectful to create something inspired. If anything, as someone who is part Native American, I am excited to have some sort of representation, because normally I don't get any representation at all. So it is nice to have representation. I think that everyone who's very concerned, let's hold our horses. Even if you don't want to, like, don't necessarily agree with what I just said, that's totally fine, but it's still too early to be that worried. I think that my only concern right now is that everyone is already too concerned about all these things when nothing has happened yet. And I think this is something that, you know, I've already made a video about this in more detail, but I think this is something that happens quite often in this community, which is where we tend to worry about things before they happen. So for example, there was a lot of rumors going on before 1.9 about how we are absolutely getting a furniture banner. We are going to have to pull for all of the furniture. The house is going to be the worst system ever. And you know, like it's a lot of stress that in the end it never happened. Just because something happened in Shiny Nikki and Love Nikki doesn't mean that it's gonna happen in Infinity Nikki. And I think the Infinity Nikki already proved that over and over and over again with multiple different areas of the game. Infinity Nikki is an improvement in comparison to previous games. Yes, it does remain, like it does keep lots of elements in common. Obviously it's the same series, but it is a better game and is being properly done now. So I would say, like, don't overly hype yourself. It is just a video game. It's still just an update. It is the anniversary update. Anniversary update is usually hype in gachas, but not always. Like, for example, if you play Genshin's first anniversary was a massive flop. So I would say, like, don't overly hype yourself, but also don't overly criticize or fear whatever is coming up. Because, again, one, it's just a game. You shouldn't be stressing yourself. You know, life is really hard right now for everyone. I wouldn't be like consuming too much time and energy of even your mental health and your well-being of things that haven't happened yet. Okay, things have not happened. Update 2.0 is not here yet. You can complain about Orientalism and you can complain about disrespecting your culture or my culture. Absolutely. When it happens, you know, it didn't happen yet. So I think I would say just like, let's hold our horses, be a little bit, you know, breathe in, breathe out a little bit. And once they release the update, we can analyze and we can see how everyone feels about those things. I am hopeful. Again, this is not hype. I'm not necessarily hyped because of my background, as I just explained. But I am hopeful that this will be at least much better than the previous games. Choosing to do Terra Alliance right away is a bold move, so they must be confident about it, right? At least that's what I think. But yeah, I'll be covering the live stream and you feel free to join me if you would like to watch that as well. And I'll keep updating you guys on whatever else they post. I imagine this whole week we'll have some small teasers here and there, maybe a light bulb change, and so on. So I'll try to keep you guys up to date as fast as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of the members and patrons who support the channel and make these videos possible. And see you on the next one.
Ryan Little.